Since 1964, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs has been the single most important amateur auto race in the nation. This weekend, almost 600 competitors will fight for a medal in what has been called the Olympics of auto racing. This is where professional racing careers are launched. This is where legacies are born. This is the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Verb.
And we welcome you live to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're in Lexington, Ohio, for coverage of Day 3 of the SCCA Runoffs here in 2016. I'm Rick Benjamin. Randy Popst is alongside, and we are getting set to go in Formula C, my friend. Good to have a lot of things going on here today. We've got a field of 7 cars and drivers ready to do battle in Formula C. This is a Formula Continental 2-liter Ford power plants, and should be a good battle up front. We've got fast race cars, Randy. We're running in the minute 22 range, it looks like, for most of these contenders here. We should have a good 4 or 5 car battle for the title today.
Good morning, Mid-Ohio. This is a great class. These cars are built with a relatively stock 4-cylinder Ford engine, and they make 160, 170 horse. They got a lot of torque. These are not like the high-revving little engines in Formula 1000. These have a broad power band, very torquey, and they drag a lot of wing. These cars have aero. That's one thing that makes them different from, say, a Formula Ford. They're a little bigger. They've got downforce. They're faster. 120s around here is flying. They are fast cars, and they're fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
As we will take our Verb Fast Lap, Nigel Sorino will take us for a ride around the 2.4 miles of Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The classic Turn 1, Randy, 90 degrees left.
And about 90 miles an hour in a slow car. I guarantee you these Formula Continentals are over 100 through 1. You've got a nice straightaway. We're running the Pro course, which is straight up. We don't do the jig over for the classic keyhole, the original design. This is the keyhole. It decreases and leads on to the longest straightaway. So getting out of the keyhole is one of the keys to running fast at Mid-Ohio. This little kink is turn 3. It's flat on the gas all the way through there and anything, but it makes the drafting choices for passing real interesting. Big brake zone, the best passing spot on the whole track in Mid-Ohio at the end of the straight. And now we get into the roller coaster. Over the hill, so steep it makes the car light. My favorite corner to watch, this 90 right, our straight-on view is beautiful. Leading into madness, look, left, right, left. Mid-Ohio is transitional all the way around the back to the jump turn. Gets the car in the air. They use the curb into the Thunder Valley straightaway. We're heading for turn 11. Jumps up on a tabletop. It's an early apex. The tabletop lightens it up. Again, into the carousel, downhill, lightens it up, tightens up near the end, but it dumps you out onto the pit straightaway and the finish line right here in front of the starter stand. But guess what? The start is out on the back straight.
Absolutely. We will use the green flag on the long straightaway down by the kink there. Everything else will take place on the pit road straightaway. Joining us on pit road for coverage today as we get set to get going here in Formula Continental, our good friend Jeff Lepper. How are you?
Well, thank you, Rick. Good morning and welcome to the booth with Randy Popst as well. But Formula Continental, one of my favorite classes as you go back from Formula F up to the next step when you go from a 1600cc engine to a 2-liter. You got wings, they got aero, they have adjustments. John LaRue starting on pole today. He'll be the man, but don't count out Rob Allaire. He started on pole last year at Daytona, got in a boating accident a little bit earlier in the season, took time off, was not going to make it. Put himself into a go-kart midweek here and said, you know what, I think I can. They towed up from Florida. He showed up for 1 day of qualifying and put that car fourth. He'll be strong today.
Rob Aller from Lithia, Florida, in the LTD Motorsports Coors Light machine with no time first couple of days. But as Jeff just mentioned, gets here and qualifies in 4th spot on day number 4. And Randy, the fast lap belonging to John LaRue from Muncie, Indiana. The Citation Snipe Formula Continental, 121.9, but race pace should be around 125, I would imagine, with these cars.
Wow,
like
you think. But guess what? It's a lot cooler than it was all
that's true.
week. It could make them faster. They've had a couple races out there to kind of clean the morning dew off the track. This place can be really dicey in that first session, but I think it's ready to go, and I think they're going to go fast. And I like Robert Aller here, Central Florida region. That's my home region.
Well, we'll see what happens. LaRue on pole. Sorino, we took the lap with Nigel Sorino. He'll line up on the outside of row number 1. Qualified about 5.5 tenths behind LaRue.
Rick, he's a cover boy on Sports Car Magazine.
There he
with
is.
2 of his brothers.
Yeah.
The family all over the runoffs.
The Quantum Racing Squad, Josh Sorino. They're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Northeast Oklahoma region. Josh qualifying at 1:22.6, about a tenth behind his brother. Rob Aller, we just heard from him, or heard his story from Jeff Lepper a moment ago. We'll start fourth. Then Daniel Wiles from Medina, Ohio. He's from nearby, one of the Arms Up Motorsports drivers. Pretty much everyone in a Van Diemen, but the citation on pole for John LaRue. We saw Wiles here from Medina qualifying in the 5th position, a 1:24.7, so a bit off the pace. Gary Machiko from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. His brother Matt winning yesterday.
Family fair again.
There you go.
We see a lot of family here running at the runoffs.
Qualifying 6th at a 1:26.7. And Doug Rocco from Sandusfield, Massachusetts, the Northeast region, my home region. The Blue Chip Diesel Van Diemen. He will start in the final spot. His best lap, a 1:27.050. So a fairly good gap between the top 4 cars, all in the 1:21, 1:22 range. And then you get down to some cars that struggled to get close to that time, 1:24, 1:26, 1:27. So up front, the first 2 rows, we ought to see a pretty good fight, I would think.
You know, I'm looking at Nigel Sorino's times. There are 4 qualifying sessions. Basically, at the runoffs, every practice session is a qualifier. They all count. Nigel went faster every single time. I like this. It shows that he's thinking, he's working on his setup, and he's improving every time. Josh was more like slow, fast, slow, fast. He bounced around a little bit more. I think this is going to bode well for Nigel in the race. If he keeps on working it down, he can get to the pace of John LaRue. But as we've seen so many times here at the runoffs, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about SCCA runoffs racing is that it's not like the pros. It can get kind of boring. You know why? It's predictable. The cars are perfect. The drivers are perfect. Everything's perfect.
Mistakes are rare.
The guy on the pole is going to win. Here, you do not know. Do not leave this screen, folks, because anything could happen.
We have seen some of that already this morning in the event just completed. GT3 had a lead change with a couple of laps to go, and the lead car, a car that had dominated much of the way, had problems and fell by the wayside. Here in Formula Continental, you never know. And we saw some of that yesterday, Randy. You and I did a couple of open-wheel events yesterday. We saw in the Formula 1000, the Formula B race, we had Alex Meyer on pole. Has a hard hit into the wall early in that race, changed the whole complexion of that race.
Yeah, he was the favorite. He's looking strong. You know what? We were looking at the grid, and I'm reminded of my good friend Jennifer Schwartzat working the grid. I want to give a little shout-out to Jennifer, thank her along with all the SCCA workers, 500-plus people helping to stage this event.
It's fantastic to see everybody in the SCCA racing family when we get a chance to do these runoffs. A lot of people will ask, because we get to travel the country and cover a lot of cool events in a lot of different places, and our work for Honda and other clients of ours, we've had the opportunity to be at every IndyCar race this year and every IMSA event and every Pirelli World Challenge event this year. But This is my favorite week of the year because the tone is different. This is for pure love of the sport. Yes, there can be hard feelings here, but nobody's collecting a paycheck at the end of the weekend from this. This is an opportunity for everybody to come and enjoy what we all started to love when we were kids doing this.
You know what, Rick? You bring up a great point. And speaking of Jennifer Schwartzat, I know her because her father, Peter Schwartzat, one of my best friends and a co-driver for years in pro racing. And Peter used to say, you know what amateur is? It's a French word. It means for the love of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like not pro, not good. It means doing it for the love of it. And that's what this amateur racing is all about, Rick. You nailed it, man.
Well, and to that point, there are guys who race in professional series competing here, men and women, this week. We had a couple yesterday, a couple of guys I'm familiar with, Kevin Boehm and Chad Gilsinger, who drive Hondas in the IMSA Continental Tire Challenge. And Kevin Boehm won his second consecutive Runoffs win. And he told me yesterday after he took that victory, he said, man, it's going to take me a couple of days to realize what I've done by winning a gold medal here back-to-back years. And Chad Gilsinger, who went from 5th to 2nd in his Touring 3 ride, frustrated at the end. And a level of emotion from those two, just as an example, that I didn't see during the pro season.
It's one of the things, actually, that I like about Honda. Honda, we see the signs all around this track. They're a sponsor of the track. They have a giant manufacturing facility down in Marysville and engineering. And guess what? A lot of their engineers are here racing, like Chad Gilsinger.
Absolutely.
Gunslinger, they call him, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And those engineers, whether they drive or they help with the cars, a lot of the guys on the Honda of America racing team are here to support Chad Gilsinger, his son Miles, Kevin, other participants in their pro efforts. They're just here for the fun of it this weekend. They're here to help out. Hey, can I help you with the car? Can I turn a wrench? Can we do any of those things? So, and that's just from one manufacturer perspective. We've got almost 600 competitors this weekend, some with no manufacturer involvement whatsoever, a lot of hobbyists, a lot of guys who do this at a very serious high-budget level as well. So that's one of the cool things I think about the Runoffs. You get drivers and teams from all sorts of backgrounds in the sport who come to slug it out on this racetrack or whatever race next year, Indianapolis Motor Speedway's road course. I mean, how cool will that be for everybody? But Mid-Ohio, one of the tracks that really, over the 53 years of these Runoffs, has helped make this what it is, because this was home to the Runoffs exclusively for a long time.
Rick, you're right. Mid-Ohio is one of the original sports car racing courses in this country.
Yeah.
It really helped with the birth of sports car racing in the United States. It's kind of born in Europe.
Yeah.
And ever since I was a kid, I've always been more interested in the corners.
Yeah.
And that's what these little formula cars are about. They're minimal. They're made just for racing.
No question about that. Formula Continental about to get going. John LaRue, Nigel Serino, the 17 and the 9 car on the front row. Acura safety car will head to pit road, we believe, this time around. But the field will group up 2 by 2. And when we say the safety car will head to pit road, actually it's an access road on the long straightaway, the straightaway with the kink out of the keyhole where the starting line is, the secondary flag stand here at Mid-Ohio, as the field goes down through the final couple of corners onto the pit road straightaway.
And John LaRue there in that red car, that's a Citation, American made.
Yep.
God bless America. And it's very slippery, low drag car, which is important because those wheels hanging out in the breeze are not aerodynamically efficient. So you got to make up for it in the body. But the chassis runs very low for good stick, good aerodynamic stick. See the under tray, the diffuser coming out the back on the bottom, making downforce from underneath, which is very efficient aerodynamically. But it could be a little sketchy. It's a stiff car. He's got to run it low. You don't want to touch curbs with that car. And
no.
I bet that little bump coming out of the carousel may make him, you'll see some steering corrections. He'll be busy at the wheel.
Well, when we watched with Nigel Serino, the onboard lap there a moment ago, our Garmin Verb onboard lap around here, you could see how much he had to work the wheel to keep that car pointed in the right direction.
He was working it.
He was, absolutely. 2 by 2, they will come to the start. 7 cars for national championship honors in Formula Continental. Glad to have you with us here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Randy Popst and I ready to bring you a couple of rounds of action before we take our lunch break today. A little wheel banging as they come down here. Safety car heads for the infield, and we're set to get going. LaRue and Serino on the front row. Looks like Serino may have gotten the drop in that green and yellow 9 car. LaRue comes back at him, though, in the 17 as they head to turn 1.
Serino doing a little macho posturing even before the green there. Aggressive.
LaRue on the outside for turn number 2 after the start. Not turn 2 on course, but second turn after the start. Establishes the lead. Right with him, though, is Nigel Serino.
Serino showed him the nose going up there into 5, but LaRue not off put by the posturing. Right across his wings, took the lead.
Josh Serino in 3rd spot. Top 2 start to pull away. And Randy, as we saw yesterday, and you mentioned this before, you can certainly draft. If you hook up a couple of these cars, you can go faster.
Serino is hot to trot, but he's going to lose one of his front end wings there if he's not careful. Formula cars cannot afford to touch, rub, etc. They're very fragile in that regard because they're made minimally for great speed. It's one of the beauties of Formula car racing. You can't just punt somebody out of the way easily.
Yeah.
In sedans, it's very, very different.
Yeah, there's no chrome horn in these cars.
Yeah, Serino is definitely putting the heat on LaRue. He's deliberately trying to shake him up and force him into a mistake, which is fine, man. That's part of the sport.
Absolutely. LaRue is your leader. That's the tactical part of the sport.
Yeah, and we're out on the straight, and I think we get a feel for the aerodynamics of the Citation. Let's see what the draft's going to do for Serino. He's not getting there.
Nigel Serino in second spot in the 9 car. Josh in the 2 car, his brother, running in third. Rob Allaire in the 52 out of Florida, running in fourth. Daniel Wiles in fifth. Rocco and Machiko, the rest of our field here. Pressure on the leader from Nigel Serino.
That's interesting. The Van Diemen in second with the Serinos. Looks like it's a better handling car. This is reminding me of the race we saw, was it T2 with the BMW and the Corvette? And we saw it over and over.
Sure.
Looks like the Citation's got a little more straight line speed. Looks like the Van Diemen is handling better. And so you have this accordion effect.
Yeah.
Pull out on the straight. And the straight line speed can be a big advantage at Mid-Ohio because it makes you hard to pass.
You've got to get a run out of the corner if you're going to make any hay here whatsoever, as your leader continues to be LaRue. 2 laps of 23 complete. Races are 40 minutes by time, 23 laps by distance. Had a couple of cases yesterday where late cautions caused races to end under yellow, which pretty clearly SCCA officials here this weekend do not want to see happen. We had some cars go off yesterday, and they were, as you called it, Randy, they were hot pulled from those areas so that we could keep racing.
Yeah, that was a shame in T2 when it was going to be an incredible finish. But this looks like it's a classic battle of straight line speed versus cornering ability here at the front of the pack.
Listen to those tires squeal. Now that tells you these drivers are getting at it in the early going.
They're on it. That's it. Probably the end of the brake zone, I think, is where that was coming from. You should hear a little tire once in a while, or you're not braking hard enough. Just a little.
And you always, in these cars especially, you want to brake in a straight line as much as possible.
Yeah, well, it depends. We got so much downforce, Rick. Depending on your setup, you can do all kinds of things with a Formula car that you can't do with a big, heavy GT car, like I always drove.
John LaRue continuing to lead in that red 17 car. Nigel Serino in second spot in the 9.
You could see him whack over that bump there at the end of the carousel turn.
Third spot to Josh Serino in the 2 car. Rob Allaire in the 52. Daniel Wiles, Rocco, and Machiko, the rest of our field. And the gap starting to lengthen out here. It's about 4/10 back to second, another second, and 3/10 make it. Back to third, another whole second, back to Allaire in fourth.
These guys are still in it. That's one thing I've learned watching these races this weekend. You just never know. We got a Van Diemen chassis in third, and in the fourth, they're not telling us what that one is. It's a secret.
Yeah, but mostly Van Diemen's in this field, other than the Citation of LaRue running up front. There's the 2 car of Josh Serino. He is third, and there's the, look at the Martini livery there on the 52 from Rob Allaire's machine out of Florida.
Classic paint scheme from the 70s. Martini's a champagne, isn't it?
Beats me. Too expensive. Too expensive for me. No, whatever it is.
Asti. Oh gosh, these look how low they are and how stuck they are. The Formula cars spend a lot of time at full throttle.
Absolutely. These cars, as you say, make 160, 170 horsepower, so you want to keep them wound up.
They're running 130 on the straightaway, but not much less than that in turn 1, I'm telling you.
Down onto the front straightaway, the pit road straightaway, into turn 1 of the circuit. 17 car of LaRue starting to stretch the lead now. 8/10 ahead of Nigel Serino last time. Nigel Serino's lost the draft pretty much at this point, I would say.
I don't think that Citation has given him much of a draft either.
You've got to be tucked right up on the gearbox to make it work here.
Yeah, it's just so slim. It's so narrow. You got to have those narrow hips.
You fit in a car like that. It would be tough for me to get in one of these, that's for sure. Josh Serino in third spot back there, and he is about 1.7 seconds behind his brother now, trying to hang on to a podium spot. Rob Allaire in the 52, sitting fourth, another second or so back.
These drivers got to maintain focus, keep the pace up.
Well, I was guessing race pace would be around 125, but so far, John LaRue running 123s.
Wow.
As is Nigel Serino, but his best lap, about 3/10 off of LaRue, 3.5 tenths. And then Serino, Josh, back in the third position. His best lap, 7/10 off the leader. So in terms of lap time at this point, nobody's got anything for John LaRue.
Yep, you can see him pulling out his lead a little bit at a time.
These cars demand precision from a driver, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's part of the reward in driving them. It's just an extension of your body. You're really not separate from the car. You're not on it. You're in it. Look at the driver laying down in there. I like this view of turn one. See how it goes up on the end. In the driver's seat, you're not really aware of that, but it catches the car, and a driver can use that. Just don't abuse it. Yeah. Nice drift. Sereno really trying to get the run, but he might have got the power a little early.
Second spot, Nigel Sereno.
Sure looked good.
Just a little bit sideways coming out of the keyhole. Not radically so, but just enough. But if you do that and you scrub off some speed there, that's not what you want.
That's the truth. I think that's what happened. A little early power. Got a nice, beautiful four-wheel drift, but scrubbed off some speed.
Third spot being contested now. Rob Aller in the 52 has closed in on Josh Sereno. And remember the story, we saw Rob here yesterday. In fact, he worked with us on our TV coverage for a couple of events yesterday. The boating accident, he cut his right bicep muscle.
Yikes.
Took him a while to recover from that. Earlier in the week, as Jeff Leppard told us, said, hey, I'm going to get the go-kart out, go run some laps, see how I feel. Said, hey, I can do this. Got his car ready in a short period of time. They brought it here to Mid-Ohio, and as he presses Sereno for third spot, Josh Sereno puts a wheel off in the dirt. That doesn't help his cause.
I think Rob's leaning on that left arm, doing that one-hand driving. Some of the best drivers I know do that.
Really?
But in a Formula car, there's so much downforce, the steering can actually get quite heavy. The car's light, but the grip is high.
It is demanding. You need to certainly be in shape. Your upper body needs to be in shape to be able to handle one of these cars. And again, the consistency, this kind of racing, you need to be precise, you need to be consistent, because a mistake in one of these cars, they're not very forgiving.
Yeah, that's what happened to, was it Meyer that you mentioned in the F1000?
Yeah, Alex Meyer,
yeah.
They put the right rear off coming out of turn one, and as soon he stayed on the gas, probably thought he could drive out of it. Didn't work out very well for him.
Yeah, and these cars are low and stiff, and they really leap around. And
well, speaking of which, our second place runner, Nigel Sereno on the 9, has spun coming downhill through the S's.
There you go, that consistency. Two drivers pick up a spot.
As we take a look, looking for our leaders on the backside, here comes John LaRue, who takes advantage of that spin by Nigel Sereno. We'll get back and see where Nigel Sereno is as we watch LaRue go through our camera shot. One more look here. Yeah, he got onto the dirt.
He did, and just like you were saying, you got to be precise.
Yeah.
That was 6 inches off. 6 inches off. Boom, that wet grass this morning took him right around.
So John LaRue will capitalize on that, and that will move Josh Sereno, the brother, into second spot and Rob Aller into third. So the podium positions changing here. Sereno in the 2, Aller in the 52, starting to press for second spot again. See if he can press Josh Sereno into a mistake, but those are your second and third place runners now with 7 laps of 23 complete.
It'll be interesting to see if Aller's going to have the endurance to keep this up.
Yeah.
With his healing arm, it actually looked pretty good, but it looked like it was a scary injury at the time.
Yeah.
And he's right there. Let's see if he can keep up the pace.
Rob Aller in the 52 car out of Florida, pressing Josh Sereno over the hill, coming down through the S's.
Josh, a young man. Rob, maybe not quite so young.
Let's call him a veteran. He's got experience. And you know, what we saw a moment ago from Nigel Sereno in the 9 car, who spun as he came down the hill there, you hear drivers on TV, NASCAR drivers, IndyCar drivers say, I've got to hit my marks. He did not hit his mark.
Yeah, missed it by that much because he was going for everything. Nigel, driving really aggressively today, was trying to put right on those marks. Missed it by 6 inches.
All right, Jeff Lepper on pit road. What happened to Nigel Sereno?
Yeah, unfortunately just dropped a wheel off, and I got to think he's going to be eating himself up a little bit. Quantum Motorsports, there's nothing you want more when you're brothers is to let your brother beat you. And big brother Nigel, Joshua, the younger brother, is going to be ahead of his brother now. So I know Nigel will be desperate to get back up there and try to beat his brother.
We'll see what happens. Nigel Serino gets it pointed in the right direction. Comes back in 4th position, but he gives up 20-some seconds in the battle trying to get that car refired and back in contention. So he needs some help now if he's going to get back up and contend for one of these podium spots. Rob Aller in the 52 all over Josh Serino, running in 2nd spot. So 2nd very much in play. Rob Aller has locked the brakes a couple of times at the end of the long straightaway, going down into what's considered to be turn 4 here. And I'm not so sure that this is not another case, Randy Popst, of Aller being a little bit quicker, actually, than Josh Serino in 2nd spot, just being held up in some places here on the track.
Rick, anytime you see a car on the bumper, or in this case the gearbox of the car ahead, you know he's quicker. And so somewhere out there, Rob is a little faster, and he's not able to find a way, though, because catching a car and passing a car, boy, that's two very different things. And these cars are running very similar speeds.
Talk to me about the carousel there. We just saw the 2nd and 3rd place cars go through the carousel. We've seen some passes there. I would think that's a pretty good passing area if you're handling properly.
Well, the carousel is great for handling, but it's an easy corner to defend. You come out of 11 right before it on the right side of the road, which is a natural line on the way into the corner. So you really need a mistake from the driver ahead of you. The carousel, however, a very important corner. We're looking at the keyhole right now, a long 180, the carousel longer than 180, and they both lead on to straightaways. And if you can get your car working in those two corners, you're going to be fast at Mid-Ohio. That's what I always advise people when they ask me about this. And the carousel also has had a bump growing in it. That wasn't there, at least not as radically, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's slowly appearing over time.
2nd spot in contention. Serino in the 2 car has it. Rob Aller in the 52 trying to take it away from him. The gap just a couple of hundredths really at this point. And we saw it again coming down through the kink, headed into turn 4 there. Aller had to lock the brakes to avoid running over Serino.
He's on him hard. And it was interesting to see Josh Serino flirting with that same piece of grass that spun his brother. He was right on the edge. He's going for all he can.
Rob Aller there again, a little bit of brake lockup. Maybe his brake bias isn't set correctly. What do you think?
It could be he's working on it. You can adjust your brakes in these Formula cars manually. There's a little knob. Front to rear braking has got to be perfect. The more you balance that, the better you stop. And braking is important.
I would think in these cars you might want a little more rear brake.
Well, he's kind of locking up the fronts a little bit is what I'm seeing. I think he might want to put a little more rear bias in it, but he's kind of loosened up in the middle of the corner. And brake bias is an important part of your car's handling. If it doesn't want to turn enough, you can go to a little more rear brake, get it to rotate on the way in. If it's turning too much, you go a little more front for stability.
2nd and 3rd in play. Now Rob Aller has dropped back a little bit. Josh Serino with the whip out has established about a 7 or 8 car length advantage over the 52 in that fight for 2nd. All of this, of course, benefiting John LaRue, who's led all the way in the 17 car. LaRue out front by 7.2 seconds at this stage of things. Not quite to halfway here in Formula Continental.
Another thing that you might not think about a car like a Formula Continental, a little bit more expensive to get into one of these cars, but the engines last a long time, and believe it or not, they're easier to fix if you wreck them a lot of times. These long control arms are designed that the weakest point, which is still very, very strong, is the mount, and it tears off. Helps dissipate crash energy, and it makes the car easier to repair. You can just put a new corner right back on with these tear-off tabs.
Sure.
They're very strong, but they're actually not quite as strong as the suspension bits themselves. So you don't damage the tub, the safety cell, the fundamental center of the whole car.
LaRue all alone in his citation, that red 17 car. He has led all the way after winning pole for Formula Continental here at these runoffs. On a cool Sunday morning, we're glad to have you with us on our live coverage, SCCA.com, of the 53rd SCCA National Championship runoffs presented by Garmin Verb. He's Randy Popst, I'm Rick Benjamin, Jeff Lepper with our coverage on pit road today. And LaRue, if he can hold on here for another dozen laps, halfway this time by, he will earn himself a gold medal in Formula Continental. And that is quite an accomplishment in any of the classes that run here, all 28 of them this weekend. We've got the final day of racing to settle the remaining national championships that are still up for grabs. We congratulate all of our winners and podium finishers in the first 2+ days of racing here at Mid-Ohio. It has been huge fun once again to be a part of this, and we trust that you're enjoying our coverage wherever you're watching worldwide at SCCA.com on this Sunday.
And we're watching the lap times here. They're actually getting faster.
Yeah.
They're still getting faster. John LaRue, a highly experienced Formula car driver, was actually 97 Formula Ford champion.
Wow.
Formula Ford was a very tough class back in the 90s. And he's been at the runoffs 15 times, and including Formula C. So this guy has been around, and he is not cruising up there. His lap times are still among the fastest. He's trying to keep his rhythm.
Sure.
Right? You got to just
He's
do
racing
what
the
you
racetrack
do.
at this point. He's not racing anybody else in the field. 9-car Nigel Serino with the second-place car earlier. Spun coming down the hill in the S's. Lost second spot. He got back on track in fourth, but has not been able to gain any ground. Did run a 1:22.095. Now, his best lap, the fastest lap of the race, is Nigel Serino, who's got the bit between his teeth here. Problem for him is that John LaRue just a tenth or so off that with his best lap, and LaRue last time ran a 1:22.6, so very consistent. Nigel Serino picking up a couple of tenths a lap, but it won't be nearly good enough in the remaining 13 laps since he lost 20 seconds in the spin.
His only hope is a yellow flag,
Yeah.
like we've seen in a few races.
Yeah.
That could happen at any moment, because a yellow flag, a full course caution,
Yeah.
would bunch the field up, and boy, would that be a race. Put all these cars right nose to tail again. We'd see the brothers go at it.
Yeah.
Nigel's car really turns in. You can see the tail kick out when he turns that into a corner. But that's what got him in trouble.
Rob Aller in third in the 52, trying to track down the 2 of Josh Serino, your second-place car right there in the keyhole. Listen to those tires squeal a little bit.
Yeah, that's Rob still locking a little bit under braking. Excuse me.
Yeah, they were running nose to tail for several laps, but now Rob Aller has dropped back. So he has settled into third spot. And yeah, this is a time in a race where if you're LaRue, any of these drivers really, you're not fighting for a position here. You're trying to just be consistent and maintain your finishing position.
I'm thinking Rob may be getting a little tired.
Could be.
Because he's recovering from a serious injury.
Let's get to pit road and get an update on that injury. Jeff Lepper.
Well, talked to the LTD Motorsports crew, and they said that he's not really saying anything on the radio, which is always a good sign when Rob's behind the wheel. So we'll see how this plays out. Still got a little ways to go.
Rob Aller into the tire barrier, Jeff Lepper, just as you're saying that, as he was coming over the hill, headed up the backside into Thunder Valley, loses it, puts a left rear off into the grass. Take another look at what happens here. I think he went in a little too tight on the apex, yeah.
Yes, he apexed early, dropped a wheel in the grass, into the wall, and this is going to be a full course yellow. There's no other way around that. And that's going to really make it an exciting finish if they can pick the car up in time. Hopefully Rob's okay. I think he will be.
He's moving around in the cockpit.
He got a nice triple tire wall there. I'm glad he didn't hit another 5 feet down. They know right where to put him on this track, don't they?
Green flag stays out, at least at this moment. Here's LaRue. So your third place car is in some trouble and will not be able to finish. Rob Aller yard sailing the 52 over there on the backside of the racetrack. And, you know, look, we've talked about the injury, coming back from the injury. He told us yesterday, he stood here with the two of us, Randy, and said, no, I feel good, I've got it, I can do it. But, you know, did he maybe overcommit himself a little bit there? You don't know.
Maybe. We have a saying, early into a corner is early out of a corner. And early out of a corner is dirt.
Yeah.
And I don't know, from my armchair position, I'm going to say Rob should have bailed out on that and just let it go in the dirt, maybe ride it a little bit down. But what a tricky corner that is. It's utterly blind. Like we said, we call it the jump turn.
Yeah.
You get real light and you suddenly recognize, oops, I'm wide.
Yeah.
And it becomes hairy.
Green flag still out now. Where Rob Aller stopped, and he put a lot of debris on the track over there. And the car, one part looked like the wing, or a part of the wing was by the tire barrier. So the track's going to be dirty. But that's offline. He was to the inside. When you come over the hill, if everything's going right, you're going to drive left there, and you're going to miss him. But again, as you said, I would have certainly thought that would have resulted in a full course yellow at this point, but we stay green for now.
Yeah, and there's a factor developing here, a lapped car. If they go yellow after the leader LaRue passes this guy, that lapped car is going to be in between them. It's actually going to give them a little gap on the restart.
LaRue has stayed on the gas, ran a 122.7 that lap, so he has not given anything up. He lapped by Gary Machiko's car just a moment ago, who has moved up to 6th with the Rob Aller wreck coming over the final hill here into Thunder Valley. And there's the safety crew. They will let him keep running. 2 safety trucks, including a wrecker right there by that race car that squeezed by.
Wow. Pay attention to your yellow flag, guys. Do not lose control. The sight of a Formula car going by a wrecker is pretty frightening.
Got to wonder about that decision. I mean, I understand that we want to keep a green flag out and keep racing here, try to stay on time and give everybody their full complement of 50 miles to settle these championships. But that's a little dicey over there for my taste.
Looks like an aggressive call to me, too, as much as I want to see green flag racing. But God bless them. Those workers are out there doing the job. They're picking up that car. It looks like we're going to do the hot pull. You can pick up a Formula car by the roll bar. See how it sticks up there?
Yep.
Once the driver's out, you can wrap around that and just lift the whole car right off the ground and take it away in a hurry. And hopefully there's not too much debris out on the track. Lots of times you'll see the SCCA corner workers out sweeping the track because all it takes is a little piece of car. You get a flat tire, and it can cause trouble.
Local yellow displayed there. Safety workers to the right side of the road. Offline, there's the 9 of Nigel Serino, who advances to 3rd with the Rob Aller incident. The leader, we saw a moment ago, LaRue, about to put Doug Rocco another lap down. Rocco running in 5th spot of the 46 car. Daniel Wiles in 4th right now in the 04 car, about 53 seconds off the lead. This is Nigel Serino, ran 2nd earlier, has had a spin and has recovered from it right in this general area of the racetrack. Yeah.
You can see where he flirts with the edge of the track.
Yeah. Oh, and another car off and around. Not your leader. That's the other Serino car. That's Josh, who was running 2nd. He looks to have stalled, trying to refire that car. Does get it fired back up.
Turn 11, I think.
Will continue. So
where's his brother?
Josh Serino in the 2 car manages to get the car pointed in the right direction again. Let's see if he's able to hang on to 2nd spot. And brother Nigel with maybe an opportunity here. He's closed back in, it looks like.
Wow, and there you go. You've got to keep that focus.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to do when you're running on your own.
LaRue continuing to lay down good, strong laps. And here's the brother act. Josh and Nigel Serino, and Nigel in the 9 gets around his brother.
He's feeling strong. He's been running hard. Josh is still kind of recovering from, what did I do? Yikes, I got to get my head back together.
Plus you got dirty tires.
Yeah, and Nigel was able to just go right by.
Headed to the keyhole, yeah.
You kind of wonder if Josh was even looking in his mirrors, if he even knew he was there.
May not have.
He might have been so much in his own head.
Concentration when you're driving or any kind of race car is really crucial, as you well know, Randy Popes. And if you lose your concentration for whatever reason, something happens in front of you, something happens alongside you, or you make a mistake, it can take you a while to get settled back down.
Rick, you've been around a long, long time.
Hey, don't make it sound that long.
And you have expressed several times so accurately pointed out that focus and the consistency is important to finishing the race. And I've noticed it here at the Runoffs, 23-lap races are like 23-hour races somehow with the amount that can happen. The drama and because it's a sprint. These guys run on the ragged edge all the time. In 24 hours, you can lay off a little bit. Not so much these days at the pro level, but in the Runoffs, no way. Flat out. So that stress causes more things to go wrong. You know, they're right on the edge.
5 laps to go last time by, 18 complete. They'll see 4 to go next time around, and this is your battle for 2nd between the brothers Serino. Nigel has got 2nd spot back over Josh. Both cars have spun. Josh Serino spinning most recently about a lap and a half ago. That allowed Nigel Serino to reel his brother in and then blow by him here. The 2 car, Josh Serino back up to speed, but not within striking distance of brother Nigel at the moment.
You know, someday they'll look back on this and laugh.
Maybe.
But I think they're both a little frustrated right now. Nigel should be up there battling for the lead. and Josh right on his tail. But that's racing. You've got to be consistent. Oh, good, they've got the Rob Allard car cleared away.
And the track is clear, and the track is swept clean. And congrats to the corner workers in that area. The SCCA safety team out there to clean things up as quickly as possible and restore the surface to clear and take down the local yellow at that part of the racetrack as the Serino brothers out of Tulsa, Oklahoma come back onto the main straightaway, the pit road straightaway here in Mid-Ohio.
Rick Benjamin, I'm going to admit to you that selfishly I wanted to see the yellow bunch these guys back up again.
Give them a shot.
Give us a heck of a 3-car race because these guys are on the pace. And then it's like the opposite of yesterday when that was T2, wasn't it? I hope I remember that correctly. When a great race between the BMW Trent Hindman and the Corvette of Andrew Aquilani. They were neck and neck, and Andrew was trying to find a way by, and that car went off and was parked in a bad spot, and we had to go yellow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same chief steward at every race. I think maybe. But every situation's different, and they've got to make the best decision for the moment.
Second and third with a huge lead, about 47 seconds over fourth place Daniel Wiles in the 04. Second and third just moving by a slower car, about to move by a slower car, which is in front of this battle, one of the Serinos. That's Nigel putting a wheel off again there, left rear that time.
Flirting with it. Nigel likes it a little bit loose. You can see his car get a little sideways when he turns in.
Going by Gary Machiko's 27 car. Gary running 6th, last car running at this point. Rob Allard's day done. After running in the top 3, Rob Allard loses it over at the entrance to Thunder Valley at the, you call it the jump turn, Randy? Just crossed up, crossed over, hit the wall. He's okay. The car heavily damaged, though, unable to continue. John LaRue continues to lay down terrific laps. Last lap, a 122.7, he's been extremely consistent. His best lap on lap 11, a 122.2. Not the fastest lap of the day. Nigel Serino with a 122.095. Putting down that lap close. Yeah, very close. LaRue hasn't had to have the fastest lap of the day. He jumped out to the lead early off the start and has let difficulties befall a lot of the competitors behind him who might have been drivers that could have contended for the win here today. LaRue hasn't put a wheel on.
He's been around. He knows what he's got to do. And these young guys, we're watching them learn tough lessons right here.
Oh, yeah.
About the consistency about which you speak. Things I've learned myself and can't always do, but work on it. Keeping that car running the laps, consistent enough. I always leave a couple % on the table to make sure I'm doing the right lap every lap, especially when there's somebody right in my mirrors hounding me.
Well, protecting what you got going, protecting your position, trying to advance, those are tough things and tough lessons to learn. And I think one of the things that enters into it here during these SCCA National Championship runoffs, if you're an amateur driver, if you know Kevin Boehm and we talked about Chad Gilsinger as one of the cars again, flirts with disaster coming out of turn 1 there. That's the 2 car of Josh Serino running in 3rd spot. But if you're a pro racer, Randy, you're many years doing this. If you have a bad weekend one weekend, you'll come back the next week or 2 weeks down the road, you get another try. You might run 12, 15, in the case of NASCAR, 38 weekends a year. So you have to put it behind you and get going. Yeah. For these guys, you're running, even if you're running the majors events, you may only get 7 or 8 cracks a year at a fairly big stage, and there's only one of these. There's only one national championship runoff with TV coverage, with media here, with a couple of thousand people watching you. This is your only day to do this in front of a big audience and have a chance at one of those national title gold medals, which you can't buy. That's a prize you can't buy.
Oh, Rick, you're bringing back some memories for me. When a race goes badly, I can't wait to get to the next one because you're only as good as your last race. At the runoffs, that's going to be a whole year.
Yeah, exactly. So lessons learned here are extremely valuable in this sport. There's no doubt about it. Racing, to me, has always been the ultimate "what have you done for me lately" sport. And here, the answer to your dad, your brother, whoever might be involved in your team could be, I haven't done anything for you for a year, so I've got to make it right this time around. And that's why we see drivers come back year after year after year. Or in the case of others I've talked to here this weekend, say, man, I couldn't wait to get here and have my first runoffs experience and try for this.
Actually, at the back of this field, Douglas Rucko, he ran very well last year at Daytona, 6th place, but still not on the pace today.
Not at all. Not at all. Not all weekend, really. Final lap here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Formula Continental. John LaRue saw the white flag last time by. If he can just keep it on the blacktop, he should be in good shape to come home and pick up the gold medal for LaRue. A driver's got a lot of experience in these open-wheel cars.
Still turning fast laps in the 22s.
A 122.73 last time by. LaRue nice and smooth through the carousel. The last little left-hander, which jogs you back to the main straightaway at Mid-Ohio. Checkered flag is in the air, and John LaRue is your gold medal winner, your champion in Formula Continental here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So you got to take your cap off to a guy like LaRue, who did not make a mistake. Everybody else behind him, everybody else who contended had problems, made a mistake or two. LaRue didn't see any from him today.
That's right. He was Mr. Consistent.
Nigel Serino in the 9 car will recover from that earlier spin and come home second, earn the silver medal. And brother Josh in the 2 car will close the deal by finishing 3rd and get on the podium as well. So the Serino brothers end up taking 2 of the top 3 spots. But no one had anything today for John LaRue in the 17 car, who started on pole after out-qualifying the Formula Continental field. He waves to the fans coming down the long straightaway into turn number 4. And LaRue with a terrific ride in that citation. Just an outstanding drive. Well, to me, that's one of the best drives we've seen all weekend so far, Randy.
Clean as a whistle, fast, resisted the pressure from Nigel Serino early in the race. He put the whole package together. He earned it.
No doubt about that. So our congratulations to John LaRue, our most recent champion in the 2016 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And LaRue coming around on the cool-down lap. Josh Serino in the 2 car, rebounding from a late spin to come home in 3rd spot. Brother Nigel in the 9 will be your 2nd place car as we watch the cool-down lap of Josh Serino. Next up for us, coming up here just in a few moments, F Production, which ought to be a terrific race. We only saw 7 cars answer the call in Formula Continental. The other end of the spectrum, as is often the case at the production classes, 33 cars are scheduled to start in this event, and a great variety of fendered cars coming up here in that 33-car field. You've got a couple of Lotus Super 7s, Miata up front, an MG Midget. You've got an Acura Integra qualifying 4th. Another 7, a bunch of Miatas, a Fiat 124. And there is your winner, John LaRue. So that's coming up next here on our coverage from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. John with the visor up. Jeff Lepper will join him in victory lane in a moment. And we will hear the thoughts of our winner in Formula Continental today here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As John unplugs the radio, gets his helmet undone from the Hans device. Who's
just
your
because
representative?
there's snow on the roof doesn't mean there isn't a fire in the hearth.
That's the voice of experience talking right there. Jeff Lepper, how about it?
Well, John LaRue, it's been a little while since your last championship runoff, but you got 2 of them now, gold medal today.
Yeah, I'm an old man compared to what I was then. It was a great day. It was a great day. It's kind of a sad day, though. Our engineer, one of our engineers, Ron Mathis, was struck on a bicycle Thursday before testing, or before the race week started, and he's in ICU out in California. And so we've been really, sad and had heavy hearts this week, but hopefully he's going to do okay and pull through. So anyhow, but Ron's intelligence engineering really got us here. I'd like to thank Bruce Foss and Hoosier. What a great deal with the tires. Lathrop and the Citation guys, Brandon, everybody's great. So really appreciate the effort.
Well, it makes it a lot more special to help that recovery when you get a gold medal here this weekend.
John LaRue from Muncie, Indiana. And Randy, we talk about the level of competition here. That shows you what it takes in these Formula Car classes. One of our engineers.
Yeah, good point. And I'm impressed at how many of these drivers remember to thank their team and their sponsors.
Sure.
and mention important people to them that are in their thoughts.
Yeah.
Because I know winning races several times, I've just been sort of all about me, and I'm so happy to win. One time won a championship. I forgot to thank my co-driver, Peter Schwartz, that we mentioned earlier. Still feel bad about that. It was 25 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. All right, we'll get the thoughts of the second and third place finishers as well. The Serenos. Nigel in the 9 car recovers from a late spin and finishes in second spot. Josh Sereno in the 2 car spun as well. And he is able to come home in third, getting a word of encouragement there from one of the team members. And Jeff Lepper, how about it? The Sereno brothers come home second and third and probably a little disappointed with all that.
Well, Nigel, you got second place today. Had a little problem there with that spin. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, the car was real good. And it started coming in, right, probably 3 or 4 laps in. Ended up trying to get an aggressive turn in, dropped the tire on the outside because of the rotation, and just tried to do what we could from there. So,
once that happened, how hard was it to try to run down your brother?
I knew they were going to get away unless there was an issue. Don't know exactly what happened with him. He was moving fast. We were just trying to put in consistent laps, try to get some time in the car, learn what we could. So,
well, Nigel gets second place today, better than his younger brother, which is the way it should be.
Nigel Sereno gets quick lap of the day, a 1:22.049. So
there's that.
Yeah, more than a tenth faster than John LaRue's best lap. But as we said, LaRue was fast and consistent all race. Stayed in the 122s the whole time. Didn't really have to press.
Interesting, those second place interviews again. I mean, really a great finish,
Yeah.
a good effort, but the disappointment of what could have been. He was all over LaRue, and the car was coming in. He got the fastest lap. He might have been able to have him. He might have been able to take the win. Maybe next year.
Maybe. Sounds like he's learning from the experience and will
Yes.
apply those lessons. Back downstairs to Jeff.
Well, with Josh Sereno and Josh, third place today, had a little problem with that spin earlier.
Yeah, I was going by lap traffic and missed my shift on the second. And when I missed it, when it started coasting, it just went back out and just spun into corner 11. So.
Got a great recovery, though, to still come back up and finish third.
Yeah, I thought I lost second gear there for a second and went that first lap behind Nigel with no second gear. So I lost a couple seconds there. And then I put it back in and found that I did still have second. So I tried catching them, and after I got stuck behind traffic for a second, I couldn't make up time.
How satisfied is it, though, to race with your brother? Family's all here.
Oh, no, it's great. There's nothing better than family racing for sure. So that adds a really good aspect to the race.
Another great story for Spirit of the Runoffs. Josh Sereno finishes in third place today.
Collects that silver medal prize, bronze medal prize, and certainly well worth it to get that opportunity with the family to be here. LaRue, your winner. Sereno, Nigel in second in the 9. Brother Josh in the 2 car third. Then Daniel Wiles in the 04. Doug Rocco in the 46. Gary Machiko in the 27. And Rob Aller in the 52, who was on his way, it appeared, to a podium finish before he got into trouble over on the backside there and ended up in the wall.
Yeah, that was a shame to see that. It was a heroic effort coming back from an injury and giving it his best shot. Didn't quite work out.
Did not, indeed. Take a look back at what we saw during Formula Continental here. LaRue battling hard with the Sereno brothers, able to establish his lead on lap 1 and sail from there. That was the early spin by the 9 of Nigel Sereno. Rob Aller hard into the tire barrier there in Thunder Valley. The Sereno brothers side by side as Nigel comes back after his spin to take over second. John LaRue wins uncontested. For Randy Popes to Jeff Lepper, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating John LaRue, your winner of Formula Continental. More to come from these SCCA runoffs.